Kevin Gordon here from Autosavant, coming to you from the 2014 Chevrolet Impala. This is the top-of-the-line LTZ version with the 2LZ set of trim, in addition to the comfort and convenience package, which gets you things like heated and cooled seats, power steering wheel. It's also got the upgraded MyLink navigation system, the Bose center point stereo, and 20-inch wheels. The primary option that it's missing is radar guided cruise control, though it does have lane departure control. All of that brings you to a sticker price of $39,500. So not a little amount of money, but if you start to think about this large car class, you can easily price a Ford Taurus to these prices. You can almost get a Hyundai Azera to these prices. A Dodge, Charger, you might be able to get up here. It's amazingly what a large sedan, even the American-made ones, cost these days, right? 40 grand if you want to tick all the options boxes. And first up, the good news, the very good news, which is Chevrolet with the 2014 Impala no longer needs to make excuses for their car in this class. The new Impala is quiet, it rides well, it has plenty of power for what it is, it's well appointed, it really is an extremely competitive car in the class, and I can say without doubt that it is the best looking car also in this class. You put this up against the Taurus or the Avalon, this thing is handsome. It's got good proportion. The only fault with it from the outside, I would say, is the fact that the trunk really does seem sort of stuck on the ass end of the car. It does hang off a bit more than you might like to see for appropriate sort of balance in the front and the back. But from all other angles, it really is handsome. It's a car that I will say has turned heads in the time that I've had it. And that's pretty rare for a full-size sedan these days. There's something about this thing, especially in the sort of bright silver that this one's painted, that with the 20-inch chrome wheels or polished wheels and the LED bits that it has on it, it really does a very nice job of standing out and looking special and a bit different than everything else that's out in its class. On the inside, things are about the same. I will say there's a few little bits of the interior that are a little strange to me, like this marbly wood stuff that's clearly a piece of plastic. The only place you find it is in this center console piece and on the top of the steering wheel. It's a little weird, but actually it's probably fine, might be nitpicking. The only other place that there seems to be any sort of economy car or basic car roots is in the gauge clusters. The center display, with the TFT that gives you all the little menus is nice, but the actual gauges themselves with that sort of electroluminescent blue that reminds you of the early, night glow Timex watches feels a little down class, but otherwise everything else in here is well put together. The materials that you'd expect to be soft touch or soft touch. It's a nice design sort of language in the front where you get sort of that new big Jaguar wrapping band across the front of the car, but they've put in, a stick out to give you a dual cockpit design. You, of course, if you don't watch our technology piece, which there's also one, there's the sort of stash box in the front dashboard. And that, while we're talking about, it's a good point. So with all the cars that are new from a technology perspective or different, we are trying to do a separate technology review. So take a look at our channel for those. And also, in speaking about our channel, if you get a chance, subscribe, like the videos if you like them. All those things really help us and the channel and keep everything moving forward. While we stand on it for a second, I can tell you that the 306 horsepower, 3.6 liter direct injected V6 does a really nice job of motivating this car along. And when you get into things that actually aren't straight, the tuning of this car is decent. I have to give them credit. The off-center steering feel seems to be good. The suspension's composed. I mean, yes, of course, it's far from being sporty as you might expect, but it is a decent drive. Other interesting bits of the car, because this car isn't so coupe-like as many of its competitors are getting to be, rear seat headroom feels good. You sit reasonably tall in the rear seats. There's plenty of space back there. The trunk is decent sized. You know, all of it pretty much falls into place. And there's nice little thoughtful touches, like the fact there's actually an umbrella holder built into each of the front, front driver's door and front passenger door, and a little pocket up here. The center console is a decent size. It's got a change holder that actually works. It's got the appropriate amount of 12-volt outlets. So to wrap up the 2014 Impala, what I would say is, at this point, you could actually say that Chevrolet has built a class-leading large sedan. It is comfortable, quiet, composed. It's appointed with all the things that you'd expect. Sure, it's not inexpensive when you get it to the top level trim versions, but it's competitively priced across everything else that's out there. You also get something that just looks damn good. I mean, the thing is impressive visually. You could say that this car is one of those cars that's sort of the result of the accountants getting their heads together, right? You have to go and make it classy, competitive, or leading in each one of its categories. But what I can tell you from the driver's seat, it doesn't feel like that. And that's probably the biggest compliment, is it feels like a composed and solid and capable large car. Where as an American, you sort of used to have to feel like you had to make an excuse for the large GM products. It no longer is true. Really, they are making class competitive things. And really, if you are in the segment for something that's a large sedan, and I will add to that, if you haven't thought of buying a large sedan recently, it might be worth a second look. If you're in the market for an SUV and you don't actually need one, there are benefits to a large sedan. It's more pleasant to drive. In some ways, it's more economical. There's definitely things to be said about not just sort of going along with everybody else and buying a midsize SUV. So if you're in the market, take a look at the 2014 Chevrolet Impala. With that, Kevin Gordon for Autosavant. Look forward to talking to you guys soon.